so golden. What you got, you're the golden child. I see forever between you and me, forever between us.
Welcome back to the Black in Real Life podcast. It's your girl, Anuli, here with a new episode. Today's guest is actually somebody that I originally interviewed for my doctoral dissertation project, The South Got Something to Share, a behind-the-scenes look at the work lives of Black creative contract workers in Atlanta. Perhaps it is because we share the same sun and moon astrological signs, but we vibed so well during that conversation that I wanted to invite her on the podcast for a separate interview. This episode's featured guest is Sierra Imari. Sierra Imari is an embodiment of the crossroads where entertainment and technology meet, paving the way for a new era known as intertech. With a passion that stems from the intricacies of music, storytelling, and the magic of creative expression, Sierra has been making waves in the industry as a tech-focused creative advisor and strategist. Her experience is as diverse as it is impressive, with a track record that includes leading brand partnerships with Microsoft, liaising with the Trademark Office, and advising creative professionals at renowned record labels such as Love Renaissance, Interscope, and educational entities like the Los Angeles Film School. Sierra's work is more than a career. It's a testament to her belief that the fusion of creativity and technology can redefine the boundaries of artistic expression and pave the way for the future of entertainment. This episode is a beautiful extension of the theme of pivoting from the last episode with interdisciplinary artist Kimberly Benz. While Kimberly spoke about transitioning careers in her 30s, Sierra, who is in her early 20s, talks about shifting her approach to work while in what many people would consider to be early in her career. I think paired together, these conversations show that we are all constantly on a journey to becoming our true selves, no matter our age. The journey to becoming ourselves is a lifelong pursuit and is everything but linear. In this episode of Black in Real Life, Sierra and I talk about her current chrysalis era, her love of Sims, and how it feels to bet on yourself. As always, at the end of each interview, I will come back to share a few key takeaways that stood out to me from the conversation. These takeaways will be supplemented with research from both academic and non-academic sources to add further context to the subjects that were brought up in the interview portion. For every episode, I will include citations to the reference materials I mentioned, as well as some additional background reading for you on the Black in Real Life website. Visit www.blkirl.com to nerd out. So Sierra and I previously spoke for my PhD dissertation, research. So we had a separate conversation about, her life and work as a Atlanta-based creative for that project. So some of these questions might overlap, but I'm really trying to make this a new conversation between the two of us. And for this conversation, I really want to start with talking about this interesting transition period in your life. I'm thinking that a lot of the work that you have become known for or are becoming known for has to do with the future or the ever-changing present in this world that we live in. But I really want to start our conversation by talking about your past, particularly.
Ooh, I love this. This is exciting. I'm down for it.
Okay, cool. I want to get to know 10-year-old Sierra. I feel like the age of 10 is a pivotal year for a lot of people. Like, what did she
Yeah.
want?
Oh my gosh, 10-year-old Sierra. This is so wholesome. I mean, she was definitely into The Sims. I remember playing The Sims a lot, like when I was early. I don't know what it was. It was just like making avatars. I feel like during that time, there was a lot of dress up games and a lot of like, yeah, like avatar type of video games I used to play on my laptop a lot. And even though I have siblings, shout out to my siblings, I grew up as an only child. So trying to find mediums in which I could kind of exhaust my time when I wasn't in school. And if me and my mom weren't doing anything, like what could I do to kind of let that creativity still thrive in that way? So I would lean on a lot of like online gamings and stuff. So I played The Sims a lot. When I was 10, I believe I was in fifth grade. And that's actually when I put my first girl group together. At recess. Yeah, it started very early.
A girl group. Were you singing like
Yeah.
Beyonce?
Oh no, 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 no. I was the manager of the group. I orchestrated the group. I was
Wow.
very like, okay, like you guys want to be singers? Okay, cool. This is what we're doing. Recess, we would literally have rehearsal. Like I would make them do laps. Like it was definitely Matthew Knowles, Destiny's Child boot camp, but my version at 10. So yeah, 10-year-old Sierra was just kind of already again living in the future in
Mhm.
terms of like what she wanted to do. But I think again, like that age was such a pivotal time because again, like you're 10 years old, like again, the typical thing would be like, oh yeah, like I'm putting a girl group together. It's like, oh, like you're singing, and it's like, no, 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 no. I'm orchestrating it, like I'm
Yes.
curating it. And that's been a pattern that I've dealt with for a really long time in my life. Like people kind of not really understanding my vision at first until I have to like show them, like, no, 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 like this is what I mean. So yeah, 10-year-old Sierra, very creative, definitely dramatic, talkative. That's the thing that I got in trouble the most in school was I was just talkative and I was always going on like really passionate tangents. So yeah, 10-year-old Sierra, I feel it was pretty cool.
Where did you, as a 10-year-old, get that type of like, not confidence, but like that foresight, like, I'm going to manage this group and I'm going to do these things?
I have two answers to that question. So the first one is like I'm very fortunate that I had a tribe growing up that just kind of always spoke life into me. I mean, again, like I've had my moments, of course, everyone having, a mom, a dad, a grandma that was in the industry and like kind of set that bar. They always spoke life into me and my dreams and some things that I wanted to do that maybe the normal person or outsider that wasn't necessarily my family or understood the type of cultural and artistic home that I grew up in wouldn't really understand. Like those things were really encouraged. Like my visions and my dreams and the things that I wanted to do were kind of not even kind of they were nurtured. They were just kind of in a way where it was like my mom would just be like, okay, yeah, like I like this, but maybe you do it this way. So she was really positioning me from a very early age. So it was never like a deterrence from what I wanted to do. It was always like, this makes sense, but what if you do it this way? Like this will help you get to where you want to be. And then like the second thing is just yeah, like my crazy ambitions have always been nurtured by my loved ones. So I
Mm.
think it just kind of gives me that confidence. I mean, I use the example of like Beyonce, like Beyonce is the way that she is because she had parents that spoke life into her and like believed in what she was doing at a very early age. And that's how she was able in the very early years to build up the confidence and have the support that she needed in order to, get along her way. Again, no one really does it like by themselves. So I would definitely say the reasoning for that is just the support of my tribe and the people around me very early.
Seems like a wonderful combination of like nature and nurture that you
Yeah,
have.
definitely, definitely. But I will say like my environment though outside of the home is very different because although I'm initially from New York, like I've lived like five, six different cities and I'm only 23. So I've lived a lot of different places throughout my lifetime. And at the time I was in Charlotte. And Charlotte's not really known to be creative, and maybe it is now a little bit, but at that point, it's still known for like being a financial baking type of city. And a lot of times at school, and even people that I was friends with, and like that type of imagination and creativity was definitely not understood, definitely not embraced, and definitely played a big part in how I saw myself growing up. So I think that's why like my mom probably gave me extra support when it came to my ambitions because she probably knew like no one outside of our home would probably get it that early.
I'm curious, so like because you moved to different places in your lifetime, what attracted you to Sims and like that world?
My mom, my mom. My mom, she played The Sims. So she
Really?
was
Wow.
always, yeah, my mom played The Sims. So she was always like, even to this day, like she'll send me stuff on Twitter, like, you see the expansion pack? Like, and I'll be like, yeah. Like, she's just like she's the coolest. And I think like her creativity and like the things that she was into and like introducing me to and like just exposing me to really kind of introduced me to different things very early, and it kind of just shifted my perspective, like, yeah, so in middle school I was always playing The Sims. Like that was just like I don't know if I can cuss, but like that was my stuff.
That's so
So
good.
yeah, playing The Sims was my shit. So it was definitely yeah, my mom, like she literally is the reason. Even like the other day was her birthday. I'm just like, I literally am. Outside of you just giving life to me throughout my lifetime, you continuously to pour life into me and exposing me into things and being a major spark of inspiration for me. So yeah, shout out to mom.
Shout out to mom. Who are some other thinkers or some other places that you glean inspiration from?
Oh my gosh. My relationship with God, my
Mm.
relationship with my ancestors, my relationship with my culture. I've been really diving deep. That's been like the second biggest, I would say. Recently, I've been really diving deep in this rabbit hole of like the Harlem Renaissance and like very early Black art and individualism and what that means and like where they were coming from and really resonating with like the works. I feel like I was always a fan of it, just like growing up being a Black person in America, like liking Black history and learning about myself. But I think recently I've really been like, I was telling my sister the other day, like I've been finding like some real ancestral messages through these pieces of art. Like I think I'm kind of going through like a chrysalis right now. And so I think that's been the second biggest thing is definitely my relationship with God, my ancestors, the seen and unseen,
Mm.
and just like allowing them to like guide me in my creativity process because a lot of the ideas that I have, I know they don't just come from me, and I acknowledge that, and I know that's a big responsibility.
Yeah, I knew I was onto something. It does very much seem like you're in this very important canon, like transition period. And I'm
Mhm.
wondering, what do you think sparked it, catalyzed it, triggered this space that you're currently in?
Honestly, I think I'm just like in a space. Well, I'm 23, right? So I don't know if you're into astrology or not, but I'm in my 12th house perfection year. So life has been
That's
life.
what a year.
Yeah, so like life is lifing right now, and I think just being in a space of like being tired. Like I think I was holding on to a lot of like mindsets and like behaviors and just like people and things and frameworks and attitudes and just things that were no longer really serving me for like my highest good. And I think it got to a point where now I'm like, okay, I need to change and I can't really depend on anybody doing that or kind of curating or shifting my environment but myself. And I'm just kind of walking by faith, not by sight. Like I think a lot of that adulting is like taking accountability for past actions and just really shifting where I want to be in life. Like I feel like for the longest time, like I wanted to be in music because that's what my mom wanted, like one what my mom wanted, but that's what she was already doing. My dad, my grandma, and I wanted that for myself. My mom would actually always tell me, like, do what you do. Like, you could be a doctor, you could be a nurse as long as you're happy. Like, that's all I care about. But like, wanting to be in the music industry for such a long time, like, that's what really was like my motivation. And then, when I got my label job, I was able to really get a front hand look and like really see myself like contributing to like these major projects, which I'm so grateful for. But then when I realized like from Field Day, and it was just a different level of fulfillment that I had not really experienced before, it really made me, it was really like a slap in the face because it was like, so what am I supposed to be doing? Like I built my Gen Z exec brand even very early, was just music business stuff. And it was like really seeing, something that was a very ambitious idea have real impact like in real life was very like, this is really what I'm meant to be doing. And I don't really know how I'm supposed to be doing it, but I just know like I have to do it. And so I think, yeah, just going through, 12-hour perfection year, taking accountability, really allowing myself to be in this state. Because I feel like you can resist being in a state of change. You can resist being in a state of transition, but I'm no longer resisting it. I'm kind of just like surrendering and just letting it happen.
Walk with me, think with me for a moment, because what you're saying, it's like my brain, sometimes when people talk, I'm like, all these
Yeah.
connections are being made. So like, I want to connect a few things that you were saying.
Mm-hmm.
One was like your interest in the Harlem Renaissance,
Mm-hmm.
as in connects me to Beyonce's album Renaissance, and just
Mm-hmm.
feels like as a culture, even like beyond your individual level, but on a cultural level, a rebirth or a renaissance is happening. And the fact that we're in Atlanta and it's the year 2023, the fact that we're in Atlanta is important because like that is the city's slogan, is rebirth, and this idea of like rising from the ashes of a fire, and
Mm-hmm.
over again, like reinventing ourselves, which is like a very Atlanta thing, but it's also like in its history. So I guess that leads me to ask you this question now. Like, we are understanding who you have been, right? Your previous like interest in like the music industry and a career in that
Mm-hmm.
industry. Who are you now?
Who am I now and who am I becoming? I think who I'm becoming is my true self. I think I'm in a space where I no longer care if my ideas or ambitions make sense to other people.
Mm.
And I think that is a really, really beautiful and exciting thing. So I don't think I've ever been in a space where I was comfortable enough to not care. So I'm excited. And who I am now, I would say I am a child of God
Mm.
in a butterfly state, honestly. I'm in a butterfly state. I don't have all the answers. Yeah. I'm just in a space of just like, I want to be able to be used as a testimony in some type of way because I feel like as I move forward in like my career and like the things I'm doing, like people are going to, especially looking back, like in the early days, 'cause I feel like this is considered like the early days of my career, and the things that I do and like my mission and why I feel like I'm here like on the planet. And I feel like people are gonna look back and be like, okay, like, well, what was she saying before? And it's just like I'm just a child of God figuring it out in the butterfly state.
That's, that should be
That's
the
it.
bio. Just a child of God figuring it out.
Literally, that's it. That's really it, honestly. So I think that's where I am now, but who I'm becoming is like my true self.
What do you do?
I follow my ancestors' guidance. I feel like I literally just made a tweet, like somebody literally like before we hopped on this call, they were like, "Oh, like, are you okay?" And I was like, "Yeah." Like it was just someone like passed away. They're like, "Oh, so like, what do you do for a living?" And I literally just made a tweet, and I was like, I hate when people ask like what I do for a living right after they ask my name because
Yeah.
it's like, although literally what I do for a living is actually really cool, and I'm very proud of what I do. Like the most exciting thing about me could literally be like my theory on the color yellow. Like it's just, I feel like we're so conditioned to ask like very like surface questions in order to kind of categorize people in which we have conversations.
The value
But
on the people.
yeah, like I think it's just like it doesn't, because again, I've met a lot of people that have really high titles that have the ugliest spirit and like they don't even know how to hold a conversation. And I've met people that are janitors or Uber drivers that have the most rich spirit and have a amount of wealth of wisdom. Like, and probably one of my favorite conversations. Like, I just feel like as a society, we need to reshift.
As
But to
somebody
answer
who's
your
such a
question,
student, I agree.
yeah. Like I just think it's like people really care about the wrong things, like especially when we want to get to know people. But not saying that about you, but just saying like their question like sparked that. But yeah, to answer your question, I'm what I do, I follow my ancestors. That's it.
No, that's real. It's actually my least favorite question to ask, but sometimes it's appropriate to ask.
Yeah. No, it's real though, because I feel like before, like, like I could be like, oh, like I'm the pioneer of Entertech and I do this and I do that, but I do so much, like even limiting myself to just like one phase that I'm in right now. Because it's gonna get to a point where like, yes, like Entertech and like bringing that awareness to like what's happening in our industry is super important. Of course, like I believe in that. Like that's really what I'm pushing because I feel like it also can act as, and I'm hoping and I'm praying that it will really manifest itself into some type of reparations for Black people, especially in this country. But there's another project that I'm already working on that like once the foundation of Evertech is set, like I want to be on some other stuff. So it's just like that's why when people ask me what I do, I'm gonna start answering it just like that. I'm just someone that follows my ancestors' guidance. That's what I do.
How do you, like to that point, Yeah, how do you avoid getting pigeonholed, right? Because as you are currently and have already established a brand, right, around intertech and
Mm-hmm.
AI, and you can talk more about like the last project you just came out with the other day.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
how do you avoid getting pigeonholed when you're somebody that has so many ideas that you want to release into the world?
Oh, I definitely still do. Like, I think I try my best to, showcase all the ways that I can be of service and the ways that I want to express like my creativity and like these ideas that I have. But I still do. Like, it's something I'm still figuring out because, again, like, I'm learning that not everyone has the same mental capacity. And so, like, sometimes I have to remind myself, like, how can I explain such a complex person, brand, what this is to like a first grader? Like, how would I describe that just so people understand like what I do? So literally if someone asks me like, oh, so like what is your job description? I'm a founder.
Mm.
Now, if they're asking, or if it's like, what do you like do though? Like, I mean, I'm a founder, but like what I specialize in, like innovation strategy. My mentor is trying to push me to really embracing the entertech pioneer standpoint because he's like, that's literally what you do. So, like, I feel like that didn't answer your question, but maybe it
It
did.
actually. What does that mean? Like, I guess intertech pioneer. What does that mean to you? And do you feel any? It seems like you have a little resistance to like a title.
Yeah, because I feel like, well, I'll answer the first part of your question before I get into why I'm resistant to the title. Um, I would say what it means to me is just someone that just lit the spark,
Mm.
but I'm not the entire fire. And I think that's why I'm resistant to the title. And it's something that I'm still working with, honestly, because it definitely imposter syndrome definitely is playing a part of that. So I'm not gonna deny that. It definitely does. But I think it's just a level of like, and also my perfectionist tendencies of like I'm not where I see myself to be. So sometimes I kind of downplay what I've already done, but I just think, yeah, like I'm resistant to it because again, like the title is cool, but I want to make sure what I'm actually doing and what I'm building like matches up with the title. I've just met so many people with like high titles that don't embody that real level of like leadership that comes with that title.
Mm.
And I just want to make sure that when I express that, that foundation is built so I can feel more confident in exclaiming that title. I feel like right now we're still in the very early stages. And so even though like yes, like I've pioneered it, of course, like I have the trademark and I've really been pushing it throughout all the different things that I've been doing, whether through its events and courses and AI and all this other stuff. But it's just like I see EduTech being, and it is already a whole new industry. So like what I'm doing right now is very, although it's just starting to spark. Like I really see it being a whole new infrastructure for our industry. And so I feel like I won't feel content with that title until that industry infrastructure is built.
For our listeners, could you give like a brief explanation of what intertech is?
Yes. So Intertech is the intersection between entertainment and technological philosophies and business models. Specifically in a post-pandemic environment, that's like the actual like description. But like in the most simplest of terms, it's just the intersection between entertainment and technology, whether that's in the ways that content or art is created or in the lens of how it's consumed. Even when it comes to storytelling, a lot of brands and stories are now going to soon become worlds, experiences, immersive, interactive, where now you're really experiencing a whole story world instead of just like a short film. And then, of course, like the automation of labor, which includes like AI and just like really implementing technology to make sure that like our creative process is still creative, but just more efficient. What we already do in like entertainment and media, a lot of the things and like the dedication that we put into our jobs. The joke is like, it's not a regular 9 to 5, like we're like robots. And so it's like, well, let's actually have robots do the things that we shouldn't really be doing or focus on, and we can really get back to the root of humanity, which is creativity and creating. And so that, in the simplest of terms, is what EdTech is.
Can you tell me about the Gen Z exact AI alter ego? And I'm particularly interested in your usage of the term alter ego.
Yeah. So the Gen Z Exec AI Alter Ego is another case study project that I just wanted to play around with. I used a platform called World, and I made an AI assistant of myself. So anybody that needs help with, EduTech, or they have questions, or they are kind of like an information bank, but also like having that level of companionship of like maybe, someone has a brainstorm session in the middle of the night and they're really passionate, but they don't, they're trying to get ideas that make sense. So, like it's a case study to see if I could license my likeness and if people care more about the information that's branded like me, or if they really care about like the human experience. It's like a lot of stuff going on. It's a case study, but yeah.
It's fascinating to me because one of the things that comes up to mind for me are like the history of digital assistants. Like if you're familiar with like, Jeeves or like Clippy. So I wonder like in this like AI version of or evolution of it, like how does it differ? Or how has the digital assistants evolved beyond like what Jeeves or Clippy used to do?
I mean, I think with this, it's a little bit more personalized, right? So when people actually get the AI assistant, it comes with like a welcome guide, and I have certain questions, and I kind of give them, like a step by step, because I know it's probably like, how do I even work this thing? And so basically, I let them know, like, introduce yourself, like explain what you're looking for, explain for the help, what do you specialize in? Like having that personalized help that's customized and tailored specifically to you, I think is definitely like the major difference. Also, like my AI assistant, you could like text to her, but you can also like talk to her in real time. And so having that back and forth, like you really have like that companion, I think is vital for that experience of efficiency. I feel like back then, it's very like informational. It was just easier to search. Whereas I feel like now, like especially with people's psychology now, like people with technology, they already know technology doesn't have like emotion. So like having that level of connectability where you're feeling like, okay, like maybe this is something that really cares or something that's really tailored to me. Like I feel like people just have a better bond with things that they feel like is tailored more to them and more specifically catered to them and their needs and what they're really looking for.
Is the alter ego you, Sierra, in the form of an avatar? Like, does it like, would the conversation be like the way we're talking now? Would they speak like you, or like, would it feel like engaging with you?
Kind of. So one, her voice isn't like mine, and I'm like trying to figure out if I'm even on that type of time with vocal licensing, but I'm not. I mean, she's trained to have my insight when it comes to like edutech and marketing and branding and storytelling and world building in that way. I make sure I trained her of like Gen Z lingo, because sometimes I may be like purr or like whatever. Like I may like do little things like that. So she's like trained in that way. But I think when it comes to like all of my knowledge and know-how and like life experience and like certain aspects that isn't so technical and like written out, probably not. What she was created for, she probably isn't 100%, because she's still beta and like there's still little bugs that sometimes I may get annoyed with, but she's at a good 78-80%.
I know you might feel weird about this question, but I'm going to ask it anyway.
Okay.
So in your introductory post to the Gen Z exec AI alter ego, you used the phrase, let's get this bread, right? Curious about like, now that you've left your previous career in like the music industry, how are you living now? Like, how are you getting this bread for yourself?
Yeah, what a great what a great question. So at first, to be honest, I was living off of like brand deal money that I had made doing my TikToks. And then life got real, and I was like, all right, the brand deals aren't coming in. What's happening? And then I went back to my consulting, and like I think having a brand where, I've been of service to creators for like over 4 years, just finding information and being of service. Like I'm very grateful that I have a community of supporters that understand that I'm really here to just share my insight and be of service to them. And now that I've, of course, like the things that I've done, like in my past job and like things that I've done even outside of that, just like with EduTech and things that I've done in Web3 and the metaverse, and now with AI, just building that. And people are like, oh no, like it's actually funny. Like people will be like, yeah, like I'm so glad like we really connected, because I'm glad I got you early. Like it's kind of like everyone kind of knows, like, oh no, she we don't know exactly what she's doing, but she's doing something. And we kind of get it, but we know that we're gonna have to get it at some point. And so I really have just been, when it comes to making income, has been really focused on like my consulting business and just kind of equipping creative professionals, honestly, like directly, regardless if maybe it's like, the marketing side, maybe it's the branding side, maybe it's like knowing certain tools to use, or like maybe it's, like I had a client the other day who's just like, I just want to advertise my business, but not on socials, but like, I don't know how to do that. Like, I don't have the funds for it. And I put her onto a resource called Blip, that has like affordable billboards. Now she can like have that like on her, her strategy, and that's still tech, it's just digital billboards. Like it's so I think that's really been the way that I've been able to sustain myself. I mean, obviously, of course, like with my startup Eclipse Lab, even though we're transitioning from a startup to an organization/association, that is something that we're still kind of identifying when it comes to like a monetization model. Like we've done events, we made money, we were consulting people, we made money, but we realized like we weren't a consulting firm. That is really for like minor individuals to really have a space to get legitimate like tech information and meet other people like minded. But for like the Gen Z exec specifically, it's definitely been like my consulting and really helping people understand where the media and entertainment industry is going so they can really be like future proof, honestly.
One of the people I actually talked to for my dissertation field work was Bain Joyner, who's one of the co-founders of Atlanta Influences Everything. And one thing that stood out from that conversation, because he does a lot of like consulting work as well, is he says like in Atlanta, people don't really pay for ideas. Like, how do you feel about that? Because there is like that fine line between like being somebody that like obviously has a lot to offer, a lot of knowledge, but there's that line between people willing to pay for it versus people saying, can I pick your brain? And they just want to talk to you and not pay you for the ideas. Like, how do you navigate the can I pick your brain type of people?
It's kind of a good dual thing, right? Like, I feel like you have to learn how to read the room when it comes to people like that, because some people may genuinely want to pay you, but maybe they just don't have the budget or means to pay you your rate. Right? And it's like, okay, I still want to build this relationship. I still want to nurture this and want to support this person, or maybe want to be like mutual support or whatever the case may be. So maybe that payment may not necessarily be fully monetary, maybe bartering, it may be, hey, like I need studio space, but you want me to consult you on like how you can implement like all this metaverse shit in your studio. Okay, well, let's just barter, but like for a lower price or, stuff like that. But I think also too, is just like, it's much easier said than done. Trust. It's much easier said than done. But I think it's just like, you have to know what you're really looking for. I think for the longest time, I wasn't playing to win, if that makes sense when it comes to that. I was playing not to lose. So I was just accepting anything. I was just saying yes to whatever. Like I was just like, sure, like overextending myself, accepting clients that I don't even align with morally, like just getting whatever because they were willing to cut me a check and I needed that. And that wasn't fulfilling. It wasn't fun. Like it didn't, like I love consulting. Like I love just like advising people and just putting them onto shit. Like it takes nothing to like share information. Like it doesn't. So to be able to like change people's trajectory in order to do that, like makes me very fulfilled. But at that point, like I wasn't happy. I was just accepting whatever. So I've learned to, instead of just playing not to lose, really playing to win and being more strategic with like, okay, if I'm going out for a networking event, like I'm making sure, like I have like my pop card ready. Like I make sure like I'm prepared with my elevator pitch. Like, it's just being prepared and being aware of like what you're seeking so you don't accept anything less. That's really been the big thing.
At this point in your life, what do you think the purpose is? Like, what is this all for? What are you working for? What type of life do you want to design for yourself?
These are really great questions, by the way. Like these are like some real like, you have me thinking about my whole life, and I love that because I needed that. I think right now the purpose is, at least for right now, is to show me that I'm capable. Like I feel like right now I'm very want to show me that I'm capable, but then also to show me that I'm supported. Like I think right now, in all transparency, for the past few weeks, I've been in a valley, been in a real valley. And it's been very interesting to see who is really showing genuine love and support while I go through this valley, and who will be there when I am in glory. And so I think that is one of the reasons why, like, that's kind of where I am right now. And the purpose of where I am right now, to really show me like who is really for me, and who is supposed to celebrate with me when I am victorious. Because I already am, but like on a major way that I'm building towards, obviously. But then also, like, I think right now, yeah, like to show me that I'm capable. Again, imposter syndrome is a bitch. And I'm sorry, that's so lonely, like, but it's true.
That's real talk.
Like it really is. And I feel like right now, like I'm just like in this valley of like, I know, and I'm reading this book called The Energy of Money, that my late great godmother gave to me before she passed. And even that was just like, you have the ability to literally create any reality, any type of whatever. But at the end of the day, it's like you have to set that tone of like, and you have to utilize your resources. I haven't been using all of my resources. I haven't been really like leaning on my tribe the way that I should be. Like it's just been very like I'm the only one who gets it. I'm the Entertech. Like no one else gets it, but really like there are other people who get Entertech and want to help me and want to support me. And like that is abundance. Like that is real abundance. People that have so many other different skill sets that want to help me, that want to support me, like having a richness of spirit, a richness of ideas, a richness of different avenues. So I think right now that's just really like the purpose of where I am right now. Like just to show me that I'm capable, that I'm supported, but then also like just to show me, who is really meant to be around me and who's not.
There is one person, well, technically two, but I'm gonna focus on one person that's been with you through like the peaks and the valleys. Obviously your mom is one, but the person I'm talking about is little Sierra. How does she feel about who you are today?
Little Sierra, super proud. I think she would think I'm really cool. I think she definitely would have needed someone like me in her corner growing up, just like encouraging her. Outside of my mom, of course. I think she'd be really, really proud. And I think she would kind of tell me to relax a little bit and calm down, like go play some Sims literally and just kind of chillax for a little bit. But that's before the responsibilities of adulting. But I think overall, like she would be really, really proud. I think she would think I'm really, really cool.
I'd like to pivot now to a rapid fire round if you're down.
Ooh, yes. Okay.
I'm going to ask these questions like quick.
Okay.
All right. What is your astrological big three, sun, moon, rising?
I'm a Virgo, sun, Scorpio, moon, Sagittarius, rising.
Wow. Yeah, we have the same sun and moon.
Oh, locked in. I love it.
Are you an extrovert, introvert, or ambivert?
Ambivert is them both, right? I'm an ambivert.
What color have you been drawn to lately?
Green.
Interesting. I thought you were gonna say yellow because you said something earlier about yellow.
Yeah, I was thinking about it. I was like, oh, like mustard yellow, but like recently though, I've been really connected to green lately though. Like over the past week, definitely green.
What do you do for fun?
Get massages or cook.
What do you collect?
Ooh, books and candles.
What scent do you like in candles?
I love anything with lavender. I'm a lavender girl. I love lavender. Like anything with lavender, I'm gonna buy it.
It's so funny. As an aside, I have like this disdain for a particular scent of I love lavender except for the Glade lavender spray. My little sister, who's like 15 years younger than me, was a baby. Anytime like my mom would change her diaper stuff, she'd spray that Glade around. So I just associate that Glade lavender with like diapers. So I just came to me for a second. That's an aside.
Okay. You're good.
What are you reading?
Ooh, so I'm reading 2 books right now, which sounds crazy. I'm reading The Energy of Money, and I'm rereading Thick Face Black Heart, literally one of my favorite books, top 2. It may not even be number 2. One of my favorite books of all time.
Gotta look that one up.
Yes, it's phenomenal.
What are you watching?
Black Mirror, of course. Of course. Like I had to, as soon as I literally didn't even have a Netflix account, and really bought it again just so I could watch Black Mirror. So I have Netflix for another month. So please put me on to some new shows if you have some.
Man, I'm in, what am I even watching? Yeah, you don't want recommendations from me right now because I'm in my reality TV old show bag.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm not watching like any. I'm trying to get HBO so I can catch up on a new season of Succession. That's what I'm trying to do.
Okay. I feel that.
What are you listening to?
I was listening. Okay, so earlier I was listening to Lil Baby and Megan Thee Stallion at the gym. But recently, I've been listening to a lot of frequencies, like a lot of Solfeggio frequencies, singing bowls, all that. I've really been tapped into the frequencies lately.
I'm down with that. I like that on Spotify. Sometimes I'll listen to like a different chakra, but the bowl for that.
It's really helpful. I feel like it really does impact my energy and my mood. So like I've really been trying to like regulate my nervous system. So that's been really helping.
That's real. I got a tuning fork and everything. I'm like,
Yeah, you need like the vibration of music and just sound and audio so like potent. So it's insane. So I've definitely been tapping on that.
what are your favorite apps?
My notes. My notes and Twitter.
Do you have any favorite websites?
Favorite websites. Do I have any favorite
Question
websites?
stumps everybody.
Oh, ChatGPT, maybe. Yeah, ChatGPT. Sometimes I'll go on my old Tumblr and reminisce on like where I was because I got locked out of my account. So like I'll just like reminisce on like that period of my life. Website. I'm trying to think. I feel like maybe my Gumroad because I make money on Gumroad. Maybe. Yeah.
I always ask that question because it kind of like stumps people because like we don't go on websites as much. Well, a lot of people don't. They go on apps more than sites. So I'm curious how
Yeah.
people like, see that question. Although maybe I'm a little old school. I still like to go on different websites.
I
I
do
got like all my
too.
own websites.
Yeah, so I'm like, it just, yeah, like I was like, damn, like, I know I'm constantly on different websites, but I was like, damn, like, do I have a favorite? So yeah, I definitely those three.
Who is someone that more people should be following on social media?
Sine Baval. I'm please, sorry, forgive me if I butcher her name. She's a futurist as well, so talented, so smart. Definitely think people need to be paying attention more to her page. I think they should be following Eclipse Lab. they they need to be tapped in. And I would say, what is that guy's name? I think his name is like Ori or something. But I think Black people should just follow his page. He's like a Black spiritualist, but he makes memes. So it's like Black spiritual memes and like ancestral memes. So I think those are pretty funny. So I think Black people should follow him.
I usually don't ask this question, but I feel like drawn to ask, is there a message on your heart that you would like to share with people?
Oh, I appreciate that. And I received that. There is actually, there's a few, but let me try to dial it back. Damn, there's like a lot actually. It's like I'm trying to figure out which one like I would say a message that I want to let people know. Give yourself grace and give yourself the safe space to grieve things that no longer in your reality. I feel like we're really quick to jump on to the next and we don't allow ourselves the safe space to grieve and let things die because like attachment is a part of like survivability, like we hold on to things and like if we feel like we're losing like attachment to it, we'll find some, either it's conscious or subconscious, like we'll find ways to still like connect to things even though they don't serve us anymore. So I would say that, yeah, like allow yourself the safe space to grieve and let things die, and not like physically, but just like just let things that no longer serve you, let them like leave and embrace the new with safety. I think that's because I feel like right now everyone's going through something. The economy is shitty, inflation is up the ass. Politically, I don't even want to get into it. The air is crazy. The animals are shitting bricks. They're ready to blow shit
Rails
up.
are
Like it's
moving.
yeah, like there's just a lot going on energetically, transit wise, planetary speaking. Like there's a lot going on right now. Like it's just a lot energetically, just in the air. And I feel like we constantly are still going, going, going. And I feel like that was one of the biggest lessons of the fucking pandemic. It was like sometimes we need to take a moment and stop.
Mm.
And like really, because even post pandemic, like there's so many people still trying to operate in today's world as if the pandemic didn't happen, you know? And it's like, if you're not even the same person that you were before COVID, why would you think that our landscape is the same? It's not, you know? So I would just say, yeah, like allow yourself to like, it's gonna sound really morbid, but like, and it could be like the Scorpio moon, but like genuinely, I know that you probably understand what I'm saying. But yeah, like let yourself like die, like allow yourself to be reborn. It's very uncomfortable, but like allow yourself to find beauty in the discomfort. Like I think that's really what I would say.
Mm. I'm gonna end it right there. That's beautiful. I hope you enjoyed my conversation with Sierra Imari. As always, with these conversations, there is so much I could pull from to highlight. I truly believe that we can learn so much about who we are and who we want to be by reflecting on who we were as kids. I want to focus this episode's takeaways on The Sims, since it is a series that is near and dear to Sierra and, in a way, foreshadowed her career in the intertech space. Originally released in the year 2000, The Sims is one of the most successful video game franchises ever made. When it was released, the PC gaming market was saturated with action games like Diablo 2, a hack and slash video game developed by Blizzard North, and Half-Life, a first-person shooter game developed by Valve. The Sims stood out from these offerings with its focus on domestic life, which allowed players to form their own stories and even speak in a gibberish language called Simlish. The Sims allows players to create their own virtual worlds. Tom Belstorff, who is an anthropologist known for his ethnographic studies of virtual worlds like the online game Second Life, describes a virtual world as a place of human culture realized by a computer program through the internet. In a virtual world, players possess the body of an avatar to interact with other people around the globe who are logged in at the same time. In an essay called Rethinking Digital Anthropology in the edited volume Digital Anthropology, Belstorff explains that the virtual world remains even as individuals shut their computers off because it is housed in the cloud on remote servers. The Sims is the successor of SimCity, a city building simulation game that Will Wright Studio Maxis released to critical success in 1989. The Sims differs from SimCity because it focuses on the people inside the house rather than the house itself. The game was originally a passion project born out of creator Will Wright's experience of having to rebuild his entire life after losing his home in the Oakland Hills fire of 1991. Wright, who actually grew up in Atlanta, originally pitched the game as a sort of virtual dollhouse that would be a satirical take on consumerism. Losing his possessions in the fire made him realize that relationships, not material things, were what he valued most. One of the reasons that The Sims has become so successful as a franchise is because it became highly adopted by girls and women, a demographic that has not always been catered to by the video game industry. For many gamers like Sierra, The Sims is a form of safety and escape, not just entertainment. The Sims provides a world where there is no right or wrong way to play, where there are no scores to keep. It's all about personal choices and individual creativity, wherein the player is allowed to exist as both storyteller and audience. In this way, The Sims as a game is a good example of what curator and writer Legacy Russell calls glitch feminism in her book of the same name. Glitch feminism demands an occupation of the digital as a means of world building. By offering players a space to play, perform, experiment, and explore, The Sims gives people, especially girls and women, the ability to seize multiple selves. Russell describes the liberty of multiplicity as an inherently feminist act, explaining in the text that the production of these selves, the digital skins that we develop and don online, help us to understand who we are with greater nuance. So, the next time your friends or family are dogging you for playing video games like The Sims, just tell them that you are participating in the inherently feminist act of personal development. I am Anuli Akanebu, and you have just listened to an episode of the Blk in Real Life podcast. The program today was produced, edited, and hosted by Anuli Akanebu, with additional support from Anuli Akanebu. Many thanks to Garth, whose song Wild serves as the official theme song of the Blk in Real Life podcast. Season 3 mashes up Wild with the song If I Ruled the World, Imagine That by Nas featuring Miss Lauryn Hill. For all things Blk in Real Life, visit www.blkirl.com. And remember, as always, the people you follow online are also Blk in real life.